Like all my other projects, I made a sketch of the blade before I started to work on it. And it has 3 distinct parts. It has the finger guard and the handle and the blade. So first I start off with this nasty piece of a stick from an old brew, and I'm making sure that it has the right size that I want. And then I cut it out with my leather nut. And I'm gonna make sure that it's sanded out because it is pretty gross. So, nah, I need to sand it more, it's gross. And I totally made a mess, just gonna clean that up right now. Yep, perfect. Then I take the top and I use my drill to drill a hole right in the middle so that I can put this stick, that is gonna be the blade, into it like that. Perfect. Since the handle isn't round, I have to glue pieces of foam to each side to make it more flat-ish. So I'm cutting out some pieces of foam so I can glue them on the sides and around, like that. Now next up is spackle, or trowel, or whatever you call it. And I just fill in the gaps. So satisfying. And then I'm sanding it down with my Dremel and sandpaper to make it smooth. And since it wasn't built up enough, I have to take wood filler and fill it all in, and I just decided to like cover the whole thing in wood filler so I can sand it down and make it uniform. So this is now what it looks like. It looks pretty good, so I'm just gonna paint the whole thing red. Beautiful. If you're interested to know how I tie the katana handle, I'll leave a link in the description below. Now on to the metal part of the handle. I'm gluing 2 pieces of foam together so that they fuse. And I'm using super glue to do this. See? Practically the same foam. And then I'm gluing the entire thing to the bottom of the handle. Next up, I'm marking where my handle is going to be so that I can cut out the pieces with my Dremel. And also marking up the upper part of the metal piece with foam. Then I'm sanding the foam down so I get the shape that I want on the bottom part of the handle. Making a mess. A little bit of fine-tuning. And I've noticed that the part I cut out was too thick, so I'm just cutting it in half so that I can glue it on. There will be a little dent in there, but don't worry, I'll fill that in with wood filler. So after filling it in with wood filler and sanding it down to be the shape I want it to, I'm just sanding down the primer that I used on top of the wood and painting it all in gold. After I painted the top and the bottom part, I made these small dots out of hot glue and paint. And I'm going to glue it on so it's like the stamp for the sheath. No, for the sword. Me. Now for the details on the metal part, I'm using this stone actually called zaburit, which is basically just green garnet. I have some tiny pieces of it, so I'm finding the perfect ones to use. I think I'm going to use this big one and these smaller ones. So first I am testing to see how it will look. Last one. And they look pretty good. Ta-da. Cute. Then I cut a circular piece of this really thick foam, and I'm going to sand down the edges, and I'm also going to sand down the part that is the training mat so it's smooth like this. I missed a step with you guys, but I'm putting spackle around the corners like this, in this. And I'm just building up some mass so I can make like the outer edges of the thing. And it will fit through the stick. Like this. Perfect. To know where the parts are, I just mark up where the sword is so that I can make the detail eye around it. And I'm making it with this, I don't really know what to call it. It's like a textile decoration glitter stuff that is like 3D and pops up. Was all I could think of, but this is what it looks like so far. And I'm gonna fill the cracks with more spackle. So I'm making more details with it. So I'm just like filling the edges like that. And of course I'm gonna sand it and prime it with Gesso. And then I paint it like this. And I go like this. And oh shit. I'll just wipe that away. Unsuccessfully. This is what it looks like half painted. I'm really not sure if it's black or red, but I did both. So here it looks like painted. And the other side is indeed or red, you know. I like it. Then for the difficult part, the blade. So I'm just shaping out the general shape of the blade so that I can cut it out of foam. And I'm using this technique. Oh, well, you can't see because my head's in the way. But I cut it out and I almost forgot that I needed to draw the most distinctive part of the blade, which is that little jaggedy thing. So I drew that on as well. And then I cut the whole thing out with an X-Acto knife. Look at how wobbly it is. That's why I have the stick. So I'm marking up where, okay, head again, where the stick is so that I can dig it all out with my Dremel and a lot of patience. And I made a mess, but here it is. Of course I forgot to film, but I used another piece of foam and I glued it on top so that it looks like this. And I'm gonna put this in on top and I'm gonna glue it with some perfect super glue. Yeah. So this is what it looks like now. I'm gonna sand it to death and then I'm gonna put some wood filler on it, like I always do. After I sanded it and put wood filler on, it's of course time to sand it again and again and again. Then I'm priming it so that I can paint it with some gesso. And now it's time to make some details and we need to be safe. Oh, squirrel! Oh wait, no squirrel. So now I'm just taking my wood burner and I'm burning in the detail of the Sheikah eye on the blade, like the 8-fold blade has. On both sides. Look at it. Pretty. Then I'm also burning the details in like the thing on the tip of the thing. Then I use my chrome spray, which I'm so happy to have, and I'm painting the entire sword chrome. It's so shiny. Now for the boring part. The weight. My god. I hate waiting for paint to dry. Can you just dry now? Oh, no. Come on! So the 3 parts have the handle, guard or finger guard, and the blade together. It looks so It could have been straighter, it could have been more well executed, using smarter tools, but I don't care. I think it looks pretty cool. Bye. Oh, and thanks for watching.